Update one for Am I the Asshole for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday. I should have clarified in my original post from last week that the way my husband responded was completely out of character for him. He's usually a caring and supportive man and is a good husband and father. The only incident where he's shown any kind of red flags was when I put together an accent chair. I used a screwdriver to attach the legs to the seat. And when he came home from work and saw what I had done myself, he jumped on it until it broke to show that I didn't do it properly and that I should have waited for him to come home. He's been under a lot of stress at work, so I asked him to go to therapy, which he did. Instead of pulling the divorce card straight away, we have been together for 7 years in May and is the only partner I've ever known. My family all love him and have accepted him from day one. I also should have clarified that yes, I know he was an asshole in the scenario. I wasn't questioning that. What I was questioning was whether I took it a step too far by calling him a disgrace. He's going through a lot of work at the moment. It was his birthday. I'd been messaging him and telling him that I'd miscarried his child and he had to leave work early. And then I called him a disgrace after he'd taken me to the hospital and was responding to the grief in his own way. Time out, OP. The fuck? He was a disgrace. Literally, you said it takes him every day 30 days to get home from, or 30 minutes to get home from work. You called him at work to tell him that you were in the process of having a miscarriage, and it took him twice as long to get home as it does any other day when he's coming home in rush hour traffic. Then, after finding out for a fact that you did lose the child, his comment to you was that it ruined his birthday. Not, baby, are you okay? I am so sorry. None of that. He let you know that you having a miscarriage ruined his birthday because now you weren't going to be cooking him dinner when you got home from the hospital at 8 o'clock at night. So you want to tell me how he's such a great and wonderful person again? Because I'm missing that here. The actions of what you've described do not match the words of how you're to describe his personality. He lets you know that he didn't give a shit. That is not working through grief when he says you ruined my birthday. That is him just being a dick, period. It doesn't mean he is anything other than making a dick statement, but that's not because of loss. And the fact that his mother texted you hours later to tell you how you're being harsh on him and you need to be there for him during this loss, last I checked, you were the incubator, not him. You went through the physical loss, not him. He then made a shitty statement to you and you're supposed to coddle that? 1 + 1 is equaling fish here, people. No. I think the majority of people said I was not the asshole in this scenario and due to his behavior that my insult was justified. Thank you to everyone who reached out, checked in, offered condolences, and emotional support. I've read all my messages and tried to read most of the comments. Most of them have been very kind and useful and have helped a lot over the past few days. I had a scan yesterday which confirmed that everything had passed successfully. Some people may remember that I was very worried about retained tissue due to my fever over the weekend. Also, my tonsillitis has fully cleared up, so I'm feeling almost back to normal physically. We didn't even know she had that. I left my husband. Me and my son are staying with family in a different part of the country, so we are safe and we are managing. My husband did get very angry when I told him that I was leaving him. He tried to stop me from leaving with our son, put hands on me, and threatened to end his life. My mom intervened, and like I said, we're safe. I have some time off work now, so I will continue to take time to recover emotionally and plan my next steps. Thank you if you read this far. I doubt there will be any more updates after this. She was wrong on that part. Update 2, 41 days later. Hi, I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but I posted on this app for the first time a while back that I had had a miscarriage and my husband said I ruined his birthday. I need to start this off by asking that if anyone takes the time to comment, please do not leave negativity or insults as I'm extremely emotionally vulnerable and I truly feel terrible. When I updated 5 weeks ago, I didn't think I'd have another update, but in short, I've left my husband and he forcibly tried to keep me in the house by putting his hands around my neck. It was really frightening and in that moment made me feel completely confident in my decision to leave. Since that day, I haven't had any contact with him. As I was leaving, he was screaming that he'd end himself if I left. It's not the first time he's threatened this in our relationship, but I called his mom once I was in the car and let her know. She said she'd go over to see him, and I didn't hear from her for another week or so. About 2 weeks ago, my husband was found dead in our family home. I'm sorry, I can't think of another way to say that easily. OP is angry, hurt, devastated, relieved, and most of all, feeling guilty. She says, I feel so guilty that he's gone. If I hadn't have left, I'm certain he'd still be alive. But I can't be certain that I would be or that our son would be. I don't know. I don't know how much sense I'm making. I just know that there were some people worried for mine and my son's safety. Please be kind. Please reach out to loved ones or local services if you're struggling. The final update is 6.5 months later. I randomly logged into this account today and saw countless messages checking in, so I thought I'd do a blanket response so you know we're okay. First of all, thank you. I was a shell of the person I am today 6 months ago when I first posted here to vent/get advice. I knew this app existed, but I had no idea that there are so many lovely people here so ready to help and share similar experiences. It was exactly what I needed when I needed it, and I'm forever grateful. It was just over 6 months ago that I miscarried. My husband treated me like shit on the bottom of his shoe, and I left him. Despite him choking me in an attempt to scare me into staying, I'm now doing very well. I'm being medicated for anxiety. I've had almost 6 months of regular therapy, which has been so beneficial, and so much more abuse has come to light. My now 3-year-old son has done really well. I do suspect autism, so I've started to get that ball rolling. If anyone is familiar with right to choose process in England with children's ASD referrals, please message, as it's so confusing. He's been struggling with that in preschool, but otherwise doing really well, and I'm so proud of him. I'm about to complete a purchase on buying a house near my family. I've been staying here with my mom since everything happened, but at least we'll have our own space again and near my support network. I'll never, ever, ever let a partner isolate me like that again. I have gone no contact with my mother in law and 2 sister in laws, which stung a bit, but my life is so much more peaceful now. That's about all I can think of that's happened since I last logged on here. I can't imagine I'll have any further updates. Thanks again so much to everyone who offered advice, guidance, and their own experiences. It probably saved my life and my son's life. Now, everybody, I'll let you know it has now been a year and a half since that update, so I don't see any more updates coming. But why don't you give me your thoughts? What do you think?